Hey guys, so this video is going to be a little bit different today. Today we're going to be talking about tanning rabbit pelts. So we got a bunch of free rabbit hides the other day, and these are two of them. We've tanned a bunch right now, but we're going to show you guys the process step by step and how we do it. So stick around. So in order to get the pelts looking like this, nice and soft, preserved, skin's nice and soft, not crunchy, not stiff. We got to do a couple of steps to get to that stage. These are finished pelts. Basically, the only thing left to do is basically oil the underside to waterproof it. But we're not doing that right now. We won't show you that this video, or maybe we will. I'm not sure yet. But stick around and we'll show you the first step, which is flushing.
So we have two hides to flush. And this is the flesh that we're taking off, and this is what we're going for. So we're going to show you that process, and then we have two hides to egg, and we'll show you that process. This is the first process, fleshing it, getting it ready so the egg can penetrate.
So first thing we're going to do before we start fleshing is, these are tubes. So we're going to cut them open, and that way we got a flat-ish surface to work.
So what I do is I try to line up one of the armholes. This is an armhole right here that I just got to. So that way we can have a smoother surface instead of two holes. And then cut right up through the neck. So a little hair comes off. That's just normal. So here's a white one. Obviously it has blood, but once we wash it, it'll become clean. We don't use soap when we wash, we just use egg yolks. You guys will see that.
Armholes, so go up through one of those. Doesn't really matter which one you go up to, or you can cut it right between the armholes if you'd like, and then all you'd have to do is you could leave these, or you could cut them open like that and you cut through the armhole. If you cut through the center. It works really well if you've got two people. Alright, so these are ready to start flushing. We're just going to get the fatty layer off. So you can see, as Shakoi mentioned earlier, this is what we're going for. This is what we got to get off. If you don't get all this off, it's not a huge deal. Just when you're softening in the last step, this stuff's going to stay a little bit harder than this will. So you also want to be very careful when you're flushing these, because the skin itself is really, really thin, and I have ripped it many times trying to get, not this particular hide, but trying to get the flesh off. The skin kind of comes with it, and it'll rip a hole right through. So you got to be really careful.
It does take a lot of muscle, and it is, labor intensive. It's not super easy, and when you're working with skin, you don't want it to be easy. You want to be able to kind of earn what you're getting, if that makes sense.
So we're going to start fleshing these, and we'll come back to you when they're all fleshed and show you the next step.
you doing?
Egging a hide. Typically we like the brain tan hides, but we just got a bunch of these rabbit hides and we didn't get the heads. So we are egg tanning them. And I'm going to use some egg yolks instead of the brain. And apparently the same chemical reaction that happens with the brain and the skin also happens with the fats that are in the eggs. So emulsified fats, I think is what you're looking for. I don't really know, but I do know that it's the same chemical reaction, and it works. So that's what we're doing. And basically what we do is we smudge it on after we've fleshed the hides, which you saw earlier, and a little bit of a white, and we rub it in and kind of either fold the hide in on itself. In this case, this one's a very odd shape because they had to cut around some holes and stuff, or cover it with a damp towel, which is what's under that towel right now.
So yeah, this will sit for one day.
Right.
And then about this time tomorrow, we will rinse it and we'll show you that process. So what are you doing?
I am rinsing the egg yolks off of this rabbit pelt. So after we flesh it and we egg it, we will rinse all the egg off, wash it off. This is cold water, but you can use lukewarm water too. And then I very gently wring it. I don't want to mess up the fur too much, but just gently wring it so most of the excess water gets off. This also helps stretching it a little bit, which is also the step after rinsing. What are you doing now?
The last step, which is stretching.
So the last step after washing off the yolks is stretching the hides. And we found this works best when, so we wring it out. Some people say not to wring them out.
We also use this.
Shakoi's got this wringer. I like to twist them and wring them.
I pull through here. Don't know what that really is. We found it in an old barn, dug it out of the ground.
It's probably a wringer.
Probably for like a mop.
Yeah, but anyway, so you stretch it, and that really breaks down the fibers to get the, let me get my head shadow out of the way.
So you can see.
Breaks down the fibers and makes the skin soft. So if you were to just leave it, it would get really dry and crunchy.
So you can see how much it's stretching.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. That's a good shot.
And then you just continuously do this. So people usually will say, "Oh, do this for 2 to 3 hours," but you know, nobody's gonna sit there for 2 or 3 hours non-stop stretching. We don't do it, and it's worked fine. So like, I'll walk around stretching, looking at the garden. I'll set it down for a little, let it dry out a little bit more, and then I'll get it again. I'll start stretching it, and that's something that doesn't have to be watched. You know, you can set it down anywhere. It's preserved pretty much. The egg has already preserved it. Right. So like I said, what we found best is it works. It stretches so much better when it's almost dry, but not quite dry, still damp. This is still pretty wet. Super wet. I'm still squeezing water out of it. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
But that's why doing it in the sun and just walking around helps. I like to start doing it as soon as it's wet so that I can start to get the skin just flexible. And then I'll set this one down. I have another one I'm going to go pick up.
Let's go follow her.
So this one is silver fur. This is a nice brown fur. So this is before I've even started stretching it. And it's a little stiffer. See right here. So then you start to pull it.
And with rabbit skins, you gotta be really gentle when you're stretching because the skin is super thin.
Yeah. And for the edges, I just use my thumbs and I pull it apart. And I'll pull it apart.
When we have bigger skins that are thicker, we usually put them up on a frame and stretch them with like a canoe paddle or the end of a shovel,
or
like
broom.
the handle end of a shovel. Or I use my body and I kind of lay on it and put my weight on it and stretch it. There's a lot of different ways that people stretch.
There's no one technique to any of this either. It's really what intuitively comes out of you when you're doing it.
Right.
Some people lay down their hides and they're really gentle and they pull. I'm not that kind of person. I like to walk around and I like to feel it all over.
Right, so we will get another shot in a few minutes, well, a few hours, when these are really dry, not dry, but drier, and you can really see the difference in the stretched skin to the not stretched skin when it's in that state is really dramatic. You can see it turn into soft, supple leather. So we'll get a shot of that in a few hours when these dry out a little bit. Go ahead. So here is a finished product. The finished rabbit pelt. Beautiful soft fur. And the underside is nice and flexible, not crinkly, soft and pretty white the whole way through. Cream colored, feels like almost feels like suede or buckskin or something like that. So this is basically finished leather. The only step that you would want to do if you wanted to use this outside would be apply a light coat of oil, put some oil on an old sock or a rag, and just very gently rub it in, very light coat. That would waterproof it, so you can go put it on some grass like over there or something like that if you wanted to sit. We just usually use our sheepskins for that, and that will be a different video. But this, yeah, is a super easy way, not very time consuming as far as tanning hides goes, to tan a rabbit pelt with some eggs. Super easy. And if you have access to rabbit pelts, maybe you have a friend who butchers rabbits, raises rabbits for food, or maybe you have a butcher nearby who processes a bunch of rabbits, you know, just grab the pelts and try it out. They're most likely going to get thrown out anyway, is what we find. A lot of people just, whether they're hunters or they raise animals for food, they just throw the pelts out. So they're going to get wasted anyway. So when you're practicing, if it doesn't come out exactly the way you want it, don't feel bad, because at least you gave the animal respect by trying. And with every time you try, you get that much better. So we hope you guys want to go try this out yourself, and it's an incredibly rewarding process. So go try it out. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button below. Subscribe to us for more hide tanning videos, off-grid videos, stuff like that. So, oh yeah, and don't forget to share. If you liked it, if you think it's cool, give us a share on whatever your preferred platform is. Thanks for watching, and go tan some hides.